So, test. Gotta see how loud I have to talk.
Hi, hello, welcome.
Smile like that.
It's a regular smile.
It's crystal clear, we've been on a year, just one stray along the way, but having you by my side makes everything okay. We're watching video clips of all types of laughing out loud, we really hate this crowd, and we don't know where to go, hopefully take it slow. Lots of hustler minds will reject the decline, our approach to life and that, well that's just fine. We wanna let others live because it's none of our biz, until you press your chest upon our mess. There's so many minds, hey, I'd like to remind you, to be out of this place, we want a part of this race. We do what we can, you better tap out, man. You're about to pass out or get a pick for the cloud. Why is it so hard here? They made it so weird. Try to stay woke and humble and joke. It's hard out here.
Hey everyone, welcome back. Another episode of It's Hard Out Here. I'm Joel Morales.
I'm Karen Ayala.
And we have been gone for quite some time. I yelled.
It's because you're doing new things.
We've been just caught up in it. So one thing I've come to realize, I was watching that video yesterday that I sent you of the girl with narcolepsy.
Yeah.
And her trip to Disneyland or Disney World or whatever. And dude, I couldn't help but realize similarities. I was like, oh my God, am I narcoleptic? Because it's not like you just pass out all of a sudden anywhere. It's like you just get tired.
Yeah,
and you need to nap. And you need to re-energize. I'm like, dude, I feel like that all the time. And I would always struggle to stay awake in classes all the time. If I'm anywhere in a meeting or whatever, I'm just struggling to stay awake all the time. I always thought it was just boredom.
Yeah.
And I guess that could be part of it too, but naps always helped me, kind of re-energize, and that's the part of the struggle. I never get to nap during the days, so I'm always just kind of dragging. It's like I'm perpetually, chronically tired.
Oh my gosh, maybe you should talk to your doctor. It's what if you have that?
But I'm also not getting good sleep, or adequate sleep. Because I sleep. I've only been able to sleep for maybe 5 hours straight, and then I wake up for some reason, and then I can't go back to sleep. I stay awake, and then I get sleepy again 2-3 hours later.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if that's pretty common, but also I think it may not be obvious, but I would think it's obvious that that sort of sleep schedule just doesn't align with
work.
The necessary work schedule or whatever. So that blows. I don't know what to do about it.
Yeah, there's not a lot of options.
Yeah, and that's something that I always kind of struggled with since college. But even then, I realized that college I was drinking a lot, and so that was probably a huge factor too. And I would stay up really late on the weekends, sometimes all night, and just be in recovery mode, I guess, during the week. When you're younger, you can manage it a little bit easier. But nonetheless, my body was probably still struggling so much.
Yeah, maybe you should talk to someone about that, because what if you shouldn't be working and you need special...
Oh, I could get disability.
Maybe, depending on what zip code you're in.
Yeah, apparently.
LOL. But we started jiu-jitsu. We got back after 6 months of not being there. That was some big news. It was very exciting. It felt great. It uplifted our spirits so hard.
Yeah.
We were telling everybody. At least I was. And then we got hurt.
I got hurt.
Yeah.
You didn't.
No, but it's definitely risky for me to even be there. But yeah, it was really risky, I think, for you to start. Or I guess it was. Turns out it was.
So what happened was I just went back too early. My knee wasn't fully recovered, and I knew that. I knew it wasn't fully recovered yet because there was still some pain. But I was already running, and I was sticking to my rehab program that I kind of devised myself, just looking things up online and, utilizing different exercise methodologies or whatever. And yeah, I was making really great progress. I was back to running where I was prior to the injury, and I was like, I think I'm ready to go back. Let's give it a shot. And yep, all it took was a little extra weight bearing, compression, and boom. It didn't pop, which can be a good sign. It was more of a crunch.
It was like crinkly.
Sharp pain. And that was it. And now I'm back in a knee brace. I went to the doctor this time, and we're waiting to see what we're going to do. I have to get an MRI. That's scheduled for this week. And we'll find out what happens thereafter.
I really cannot wait to find out. Like, I'm just like, I really want that day to be here so that way we know what's happened.
If it's torn or if it's just ripped a little, or, blows, to say the least.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm not going to lie, I am very upset at my body for not being able to manage it.
It was progressing well. I think we took just too big of a leap.
But injuries in general, there's just, through this whole process, it's been very disappointing to realize, because we both started after 30, and it's like, everything hurts. And everything's causing an injury. Little minor injuries here and there.
But everyone gives us advice, which I really like, because we know we need to do better. We need to get adequate rest, except you can't do that. So we need to eat better. We can work on that.
We do, honestly, we do way better than most people out there. So I think that's something to be kind of proud of, for sure.
For sure.
We don't just indulge any chance we get.
No.
We do restrict ourselves, and which is kind of sad, but also necessary, because we feel so much better when we eat clean for a week.
Yeah.
And then we give ourselves a
little cheat.
Yeah, we ease up on ourselves on the weekend, and then I'm just I can't wake up. I feel so bad. I'm so tired.
You feel it.
Yeah.
Golly, my stomach just kind of turns a bit.
Yeah.
It's it's uncomfortable feeling. So then it's okay, well, I got that, and I don't want to do it again for a while. So that is good. But we also, the sport that we want to do is sort of intense. So it's one we can't really mess around with. We have to stay on top of it, doing well.
Yeah, I guess not.
Because injury there is quick and easy and common.
I know. Gosh, it's so crazy. So I gotta find the right rolling partners, and I don't even know, but it's fun to roll with new people, though. Just let's try it. Let's see what happens, and then you find out real quick, and then you find out too late. Just okay, I'm not gonna roll with that person.
Yeah.
And you're hurt by that point.
Yeah, it's not good.
But I don't know. I
Excuse me.
like that aspect of the sport, just because it's tough. I always admired they were essentially hoodlums. I don't know, these dudes that would walk around from specific Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu gyms, and they would just go pick fights with people and stuff. They were essentially hoodlums,
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Well, when you have the skill.
yeah, but I'm just man, that's how they would just do that, out of someone's garage or whatever, and then they would go roam the streets and pick fights with people, and they were tough, and I want to be tough. And
That's probably not a good thing to
it's
do.
hard. No, definitely not. But
it's not helpful to society.
yeah, definitely not. But it's interesting because that's the reality of the history of this sport, because it used to be, much more self-defense based, and which some of the Gracie, what would you call them?
Academy?
Not break-offs. Yeah, some of the Gracie academies still stay true to that self-defense philosophy, and so that's how they train, right? And that's what it's about. It's not about necessarily the sport or whatever, which I would say most gyms are focusing on these days. And you can always like integrate both the self-defense and sport, you know, on your own, and you just have to be like, I guess, not innovative, but like wise to it, I guess. I don't know. Just be able to incorporate that into like a self-defense scenario, you know.
Yeah.
But either way, I forgot what I was saying. I digressed. God dang, I didn't even digress. I just completely forgot what I was saying.
That some of the Gracie.
Oh, they were bullies. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because their schools are the ones that like really adhere to like these principles of discipline and respect and honor and stuff like that, you know.
The rules and the cults and stuff.
The cultish behavior, yeah. And they get really weird with it, like, oh, you can only buy our uniforms. Oh, you can't train at any other gym. And just recently I saw one, surprisingly, school in San Marcos and another nearby Texas town in these parts. They issued a $50 annual fee for retaining your belt rank and being recognized
Oh my gosh, I saw
at
that.
that belt rank.
That was in Texas. I thought it was some other random San Marcos.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wait, another San Marcos? I mean, I guess it could be. I assumed it was.
Yeah, I just assumed
Here.
it was like California or something.
Oh.
I don't know. I didn't look into it, but I just thought that was
Neither
wild.
did I. I just saw San Marcos and I was like, oh, crazy. That's right next to us.
Yeah, if that's in Texas, that's hilarious.
I don't know if it is or not. But anyways,
Should I look it up?
it's just so funny how, like, you're going to look it up?
Maybe.
Yeah, how that's kind of a new area of the culture that's been recently, I guess, talked about, you know. It's always been known. There have always been critics of that sort of culture, but I think it's becoming a little bit more popular, especially with like pages like McDojo Life, right? Rob is really pointing out the sort of abuse or inappropriate conduct that some of these schools partake in, and not just Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu either. It's
Yeah,
like
no,
across the
lots of
board,
different
martial
ones,
arts,
yeah.
like karate schools, whatever else, you know.
Okay.
One thing I thought was funny, there's a trending or a viral trans friendly or open school, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu school that has been making some waves online. I'm not familiar with the instructor's name, but they are trans, I believe, and you know, they're just promoting Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and like the welcoming academy itself. You know, whoever you are and however you are, you're welcome to go train there. And they've been getting so much crap for just being trans and being a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu school, especially from like, you know, conservative types, Christian types people. And I think that's so funny because they'll say things like, oh, don't let your kids train there. They just want to roll around with your kids, you know, stuff like that. And making jokes like, oh, they're going to read literature to your kids. And it's so strange to me that just because this person is trans, they think it's automatically like an
Predator.
inappropriate, sexual scenario, you know, a predator, right? And when the fact of the matter is, like, predators come from like the Catholic Church, who actively like suppress it and relocate their predators, you know, to keep them safe and out of harm's way, and then
And not persecuted.
and just like regular crazy people out on the street, teachers, you know, in public schools,
A
that
billion
aren't that,
positions of power, like
that aren't trans, politicians, you know, that aren't trans, and they put on what do you call it? They put on like a fake face, you know, out in public or whatever. And it's just like anyone can be a predator. Just because someone's trans or part of the LGBTQ plus community, like, does not mean that they're a predator. And it frustrates me because a lot of the times these types of conservative Christian types of people or whatever, mostly that's what it mostly is, I would think. I don't know for sure. I don't have like facts or stats or anything like that, but that they don't see the counter to that. It's like, no, it's literally anyone else that's usually a predator. Yes, it can also be a trans person, but the fact that they're trans does not make them a predator.
Yeah.
You know, that's the logical fallacy there. And
Well, not for them. They see it as like that's a corrupt person. That is
Right.
an evil person.
Yeah, they're
and-
like a fallen person. And,
yeah.
and all the while you have like priests doing it. And I grew up in a Protestant church, Baptist church, and guess what, y'all? I was never taken advantage of underage, but I would definitely call what I experienced grooming. You know, I always saw it from a perspective of like, oh, this is another God-fearing man. It's fine, you know. He has a real passion for children. He's hanging out with all of us, having good times with us. He doesn't have a wife or kids, so he makes up for it at the church. You know, that's where he gets that fulfillment. And come to find out, you know, I wasn't the only one. From my understanding, it had all been after we were 18 years old of consenting legal age, but still, nonetheless, y'all, we were kids when we met him. He must have been in his mid-20s when we met him, and it was grooming. All those years since we were 11, 12, 13 years old, hanging out with this person, and then once we all became quote-unquote adults, or at least legal adults, a lot came out. And a lot happened.
That's so messed up.
A God-fearing Christian Baptist, Southern Baptist man wasn't a trans person. Like, I don't know where y'all get off on being so sure of yourselves sometimes, but you know, understandably,
there's
whatever.
hate. It's just a bunch of
It's hate, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. It's hate.
Yeah.
It's,
If they really cared about protecting kids or anyone, then they would do anything about like any sort of organization. They would look around them. They would look to their friends.
right. Yeah,
like-
you would investigate that organization itself and the people running it. You know, okay, where are they coming from? Who are they? But they don't. They don't bat an eye when they're signing their kids up for Bible school or Sunday school, rather. You know, or a Bible course or whatever, or some political organization. You know, they don't bat an eye.
No.
Just because it's a trans person, all of a sudden. No, we can't have that. No. We're not going to let our children do that.
And all they were saying was like, hey, we provide a safe space for those that are like me.
Exactly. And I really hate that it's been like distorted like that, you know, because there are people out there that do struggle with these issues because they are different than what's considered to be the norm. And then they know that if they are to be outspoken about it, they will be harassed, they will be bullied, sometimes they get murdered because they're different.
A lot of times. Like, that's a huge thing.
Yeah, and like, so of course, you know, it's scary, and we need places for people like that to feel safe and welcomed and be protected.
And it's awesome that they're learning jiu-jitsu because it'll help protect them.
And yet here we are, just like still.
They're mad because in competition, well, besides that they hate, and it's just a bunch of hate, it's because of competition, I bet, that they're also
That's
mad.
one of the reasons, I mean, there's so many. And I do, like, I would agree, I'm sure, on some points when it comes to competition, because a lot of the times, like, biology has a lot to say about, you know, who's going to come out on top. And that's just a matter of fact, unfortunately. And whether or not that's actually, you know, chromosomally dependent or not, you know, that's a different argument. That's for the sciences. I don't know. I just go by what I hear, right? And what I listen to the people that are experts on these issues.
More educated than I.
From both sides too. I don't just listen to the people that I have a preferred bias, you know, with, and that way I can make up my own mind, you know, so like, okay, who's actually right here, you know?
Yeah.
And it's difficult because you need to have like an honest conversation. You need to be honest about, you know, certain positions you take or certain facts and things like that. You can't. It's very difficult. You know, normal, informal conversation is very sloppy and messy, and there's just like logical fallacies all over the place, and it drives me crazy. But you know, that's the world we live in. We're not going to be so caught up in formalities like that, you know, logical formalities, because that's just not necessary for one thing, you know, because life is casual, just enjoy it, don't be so stuck up all the time, sure. But then when it comes to issues like that, oh no, you bet your ass we're gonna be formal.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't get into fights like I used to. I used to be online freaking, yeah, well you're, and then you don't know. Yeah, that's pretty dumb. I don't want to waste my energy for that anymore, because you can't change people's minds.
You can, just over time.
I guess I don't have the strength for that.
Patience, time, I don't know.
Yeah, both of those
Takes a lot.
as well.
Because, like, I mean, you know, I've talked about it on here before. I listened to the Atheist Experience podcast based out of Austin, here in Austin. And yeah, they have been on the air for over 2 decades now, I think, or something like that. And people always ask that question, like, why do you even waste your time with these people? They're not going to change their minds. And that's just simply not true. They have plenty of examples of people coming around, and it doesn't happen right away. Sometimes it takes years. There's people that always leave comments or email the organization or whatever, leave voice messages saying things like, hey, you guys helped me out so much through my deconstruction of my beliefs, you know, and it didn't happen right away, but I'm so thankful now. You know, I see the way that I was being taken advantage of or whatever, or just people who are just seeking like truth or, you know, just things.
Yeah, I heard that people say, I remember hearing a call that was like, I used to be this, and now because of y'all I'm this.
Yeah.
So thank you.
And a lot of the times too, you'll hear the same rebuttals to the arguments that, you know, theists like to use, but they don't click right away. And this really goes for anything. It doesn't just apply to like religion and all that stuff, but they don't click. You hear the arguments, you don't fully understand them, I guess, and then later on you realize like, oh dang, they've been saying that this whole time, and I just wasn't like receiving it, you know, because it's people identify with their beliefs, so you know, it's something that we hold on to, and we'll like die on that hill, you know. I
don't want to change myself. This is who I am.
Yeah.
This is what I'm about. Well, I like putting out the information, but not the argument, I guess. Like I don't need to bother being aggressive, or maybe I just need a different approach, because like on the Atheist Experience, sometimes they're just like,
oh yeah, they pop off.
Yeah.
They get aggressive. I don't particularly like that either, but from their point of view, they're
sick of it.
They're sick of it, and they also try to just like attack the arguments, always just the arguments, not the people. And they get frustrated sometimes because they're just like, that is so stupid. Like, are you listening to yourself? Like, they have this one caller, John, we were just talking about a little bit earlier. He seems genuine, but then again, they were finally talking about like, you know what, he's been calling for a while already, and like now we're starting to wonder if he's a troll or not. Yeah. Because some of the things he argues for are just so blatantly wrong and illogical, and it's just crazy and scary to think that, you know, he thinks that way. And this last call, one of the hosts told him, they're like, hey, you know what, John, we've been talking to you for a while already, and at this point I am genuinely concerned for you, sir, because I don't want anyone taking advantage of you. I with all due respect, I feel like you are not capable of understanding these logical structures and arguments, and maybe you need to do something about that, talk to people you trust, and maybe get a bit more educated on how to like structure these things and how to think about them, because some of the things you say just are so out of this world and just make no sense, and you're convicted, you know, you're so married to them, and he will not budge. Like, you know, he just says a lot of crazy things sometimes, and you're just like, whoa.
Yeah.
And for lack of better I don't know, terminology, like, he's stupid. He's just dumb. It seems like he's just dumb, and it's crazy. And that's sad, because, you know, it seems like he's really trying, though, at least. So that's good.
That's
But
interesting.
yeah, he's just not getting it. It's so crazy.
Like, how did he come across this?
I don't know. He's obviously involved in his church.
Yeah.
And he came across the atheist experience, and he's been a long time caller. And some hosts have, like, they don't take his call because they know who he is, and they're just like, nope.
Yeah.
Another host, he actually got banned at one point because he was accused of being a troll. But then other hosts were just like, no, it's okay. Like, we do need to hear everyone out. And like, I don't think this person is a genuine troll. Although others might think so, I don't think so. So let's go ahead and allow him to be back on, you know. But they did give him boundaries, though. They told him, like, hey, you can't do this, you can't do that. Okay,
Yeah.
like, we're just not going to tolerate that. Sorry. Because they have to run a tight ship, you know. They have
Yeah.
to keep it somewhat controlled.
Yeah, well, because they only have so much time, and a lot of people actually call, right?
Oh, yeah.
Questions. I wonder if there's churches out there that are like, all right, this week we're gonna attack them with this.
Yeah, I don't think so.
That would be funny.
And they tell them too. They're like, get your best representatives out here on the lines. Get them to call. Get your pastor to call. Get your priest to call. Come on.
I imagine though that the churches would be like, why would we waste our breath on those non-believers?
Maybe. Yeah. Who knows? We'll just pray for them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's just crazy. But anyways, yeah. So lack of like reason and logic can be a huge problem, and we see it especially when it comes to bigotry and hate.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So I think that's become one of the reasons why I'm like somewhat passionate about it, you know. It started off with like theism and beliefs and wanting to know if there was a God or not, and now it's transformed into like something else because it spills into other like aspects of life too, and like social commentary. Yeah.
The clothes are ready.
The clothes are ready? Oh, that was fast. 26 minutes.
It's pretty good.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks again for joining us, y'all. We really appreciate it as always, and we're trying to get this thing going and keep it going.
Yeah.
It has proven to be a lot more difficult than we anticipated, which honestly I did expect.
Yeah, for sure. I just thought that I would have more energy, I guess, to just like continuously be doing stuff, but I'm not that dedicated. So
Yeah.
even
I
though this
guess.
is what I want to do,
At least, yeah, there is just
Yeah.
honesty.
there's so much content on my phone, but I'm just like, oh, that was fun, and then I put it away. Then I'm
That's
like,
what it is. I mean, that's why these things are so successful, because they're just quick, short dopamine hits. It's like, boom, entertainment, boom, entertainment. Okay, we're done. And now we got to go back to work for however many hours, and then got to go home and then manage the kids, and then be there for the kids and give lessons to the kids, and then we got to do our chores, and then we got to go visit family, and then we got to...
Yeah.
just too much to manage. I mean, and I'm sure plenty of you out there know, you know, and we watch some of y'all's stories too on Instagram, and we see it too, you know, especially those with families, and y'all are pulling it off as well.
Yeah, you're doing great.
Yeah. But yeah, it's hard. It is hard, difficult.
Yeah.
But we're doing it.
And thank y'all for supporting the ones that do. We really appreciate y'all
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
much.
And
We know you each individually.
But yeah, for real. And hopefully we can continue to bring content, and hopefully we can continue to get guests on, and we might take a different approach to this here soon, because, you know, again, like finding time to schedule interviews and stuff like that has been proven to be very, very difficult. And we don't really do much else other than like jiu-jitsu, and that's been a huge place where a lot of our guests have come from, and now we've sort of run out of people.
I guess. We're also not really, I mean, we just got back into the gym, and so we weren't really like staying in contact with those people as well, or like replenishing our contacts,
Right.
I guess.
And so like that's why I made it a point to say like we don't have anywhere else to
okay.
really pull from.
Gotcha.
Our like our guest pool is limited, you know. But you know, if y'all know anyone, of course, send them our way, and we can hopefully try to schedule something. If y'all would like to be on too, that's always still an option. And I don't know. Like I said, we might have to start taking a different approach to this and just coming up with different content ideas, but staying true to the theme of it being hard out here.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people are interested in our relationship too, so we could dive deeper in that.
I mean, if that's something y'all are interested in, yeah, let us know. We can definitely work that in. But yeah. All right. Well, thanks again, guys. We really appreciate it. We got to go get our laundry now.
Yeah.
All right. See you later.
Bye.